Hey, everybody, here we are a little late. It's Jamie Jensen and Chris Larson's Cabinets.
How you doing, Jamie?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Anything different than last week, but it sure wasn't giving me any volume or I couldn't hear you guys.
Technology is a beautiful thing, isn't it?
It is the one thing I don't have them.
Well, you know, ultimately, as long as it works, we'll get here eventually, right?
So, I totally agree. We're going to get there. That's forward to today's program. I'm looking forward to getting away from boy. There's about Monday being the worst Monday in the history of Monday, because it was after the holiday, so people go blue, and then it took their Christmas stuff down, so people turned blue, and then it was darkest days of the year. And anyways, I thought it was a gorgeous day on Monday. I didn't get blue at all. I don't know.
Yeah.
How'd you do?
Monday
How'd you fare?
Good day.
Yeah. I didn't have too many problems Monday, and I'm kind of fine today. Yeah, I'm ready for it.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, it's now it's Tuesday, so it's been a good day, so we can't complain. Live at 5. And you know what today is? Well, it's actually officially tomorrow. Mom's birthday. Mom down in Arizona is having another birthday, so happy birthday to Mom.
Love. I am now so addicted to date nut bread and date. Is that what it is? Good.
Date cake. Yeah, Mom brought you date cake. We made date cake and brought you a pound of good old Yuma, Arizona dates. So
yeah, show you how good they are, but they're all gone. There's.
Did you do something with them? How did you eat them?
My bride makes this date cookies also, so I make some date cookies. So
awesome. Well,
yeah,
there you go.
It is awesome.
Well, next time you need some dates, you know where to get them.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, that's your mom.
Very cool. Well, happy birthday to Mom.
Happy birthday, Mom. Many more good times.
Yeah.
Right well, now because it's been they've had that river stream heading towards her, going through the Southwest.
Yeah, I don't know. Mom's watching. So are you getting any of those? What is that called? Atmospheric river or something? Yeah, I know California is getting just blasted by that.
Yeah. Lake Shasta over, what is it, 900 feet of water, 35 miles. I mean, it hurts my head to do that kind of math. So
right. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, my heart just breaks for the people down there who just are struggling, and it just I guess it's supposed to wrap up here today or yesterday, and so let's hope that happens, and I hope it doesn't come here, because I don't need another atmospheric river here for sure.
Well, everybody thinks that that we get that kind of rain here. It's like, that big monsoon, the Pineapple Express in Chicago and New York, where it just dumps and stuff, and we don't get that drizzle over days and weeks and stuff. So
yeah. Nope, it's not bad.
It's good.
Hey, you got a busy weekend.
Yeah.
It's got what?
You have a busy weekend. Had a busy one and gonna have another busy one.
Yeah, you got a busy week coming up. So
looking forward.
Do you want to introduce our guest, and I'll click him in here with us?
I'm really kind of excited about this. This young man, goodness sakes, it's probably more than, it was pre-pandemic times. It was back into the comedy business. And he would come over to do a Cloverleaf back in the day, both some of my funny fundraisers. He did it quite early on in his career. And I know that he's going to shake his head. I'm just going to say this. He is the most famous comic out of Hoquiam, comedian out of Hoquiam. Because, yeah, there's probably not too many of you out there. I've always found Travis to be one of the nicest people in the world. I love his storytelling style on stage, the way he involves the juiciest family, his dad, the bear, and the rest of his family. So welcome to the show. How you doing, man?
Hello, I'm doing good. It's good to see you guys. Thank you for having me on the show.
Love it. Love everything about having you on the show today. Pre-pad you at the Cloverleaf probably 40, 50 times at least. And a few, back when you were, again, kind of starting out. And then the last couple of years, and even through the pandemic, your career, love everything about the amount of work you do at comedy clubs, on cruise ships and stuff. So how you doing, man? What's going on in Travis's world right now?
Oh, I'm doing so great, Chris. I have been on in fact, I've just been knocking wood left and right because I'm just on a hot streak of having good day after good day. So it's great to include this in my hot streak. Let's see. I have a tamale man in my neighborhood. He came by yesterday, so I got a bunch of tasty tamales from the tamale man. I went out and watched the football game, and then wound up doing bingo and karaoke last night. And then I ate all of the tamales, and and then today I found out next week I just had like a cruise week get canceled, but they're still paying me for it, so I just get to stay at home and get paid, which never happens as a comic. So that feels pretty amazing.
I don't even know.
Yeah,
language.
I'm flying high. High.
Where were you going on a cruise?
It was out of Miami. It was down to Belize, Honduras, and then a couple stops in Mexico.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So do we know why it canceled?
Yeah, I think it's sometimes they do like a special event thing. And it must have been some kind of miscommunication between the booking agency and the cruise line, where there was a special group that was renting basically a bunch of people put in to rent the cruise ship over a week, and they were just like, all right, we have our own comedians usually. Yeah, but because they told me so late, free money. That's all I care about. Yeah. Feeling pretty high and mighty. I feel powerful today. I hit a guy's car with an egg, and then felt really good about it until I realized how much eggs cost now. So it was kind of bittersweet. This guy's been hanging out outside my apartment just honking his horn, and he'll honk it for like 20 minutes straight. And I've never been able to see where his car was. And today I just got home. I was cleaning my apartment, and he just starts going. And it wasn't that big of a deal, but it was one of those things where it's been 5 years of this happening, and I finally had an opportunity to throw an egg at this guy. So that felt very good.
That's worth the cost of an egg.
I thought so.
As long as he doesn't come after you for paint damage or something.
No, I made sure just to nail him right on the windshield. So
there you go.
Yeah, it's just kind of a warning shot, right?
Well, that's old school because you're pretty young, but Chris and I are not so young. But we actually used to do those things with eggs and toilet paper.
People should throw eggs more often. It's a very powerful thing to do. You know what I mean? It just feels right.
There was always the guy that took a dozen eggs and hid them in the woods for a couple of rancid, so that was never good.
Okay, so you're saying I need to step up my game, Chris? I need to have some forest eggs to break out if need be.
And I'm not going to say this too well, I am going to say it. As a bachelor, who knows how old you're later? So
Yeah. Well, it's just leave some eggs on the counter for a little while and
Yeah, yeah.
you'll be good.
Yeah, I
You'll
mean,
be
that
good.
is a good. I didn't check the expiration before I hucked an egg at him. That is a good point, Chris.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. It could
no,
have been a dirty egg. I could have accidentally stepped up my game, but
Not
well, let's
intentionally.
not intentionally.
hear a little bit. Let's get into your world a little bit.
Okay.
Let's start at how do you survive living in Hoquiam and then now a world touring comedian? How do you make those steps in your life, man?
Well, Hoquiam was, that's just where I grew up, so I didn't know any different, right? So it was one of those funny things where I didn't see comedy until I watched it all the time, but I didn't get to see it in live until I was older. So I never knew you could just get up and do it. And it wasn't until I went to college. I went to college up in Bellingham, and I started working with like on a sketch comedy show, nothing big, just like on campus and doing some improv. And then they started having a stand-up comedy competition, and I thought that was awesome because I saw all my friends get up and start doing it, and that's really when it clicked for me that there's nothing holding you back. You really just get up and start talking. Not that everyone's gonna like it, but you can just get up and start doing it at open mics and stuff, and that's kind of where it started for me. Um, and yeah, I made a stand-up comedy club at the college up there, so the college would um, produce shows and we would perform on them, which was pretty cool. And then wound up moving down to Seattle. I got a degree in biochemistry in college, and I thought I was going to work in biotech, but I moved down to Seattle and I worked in like labor and a little bit of like road construction before I went to college, and I was making really good money doing that. And then I thought, you get a smart degree, you're going to make a lot more money. So then I put forth the effort and got that degree, and then I moved to Seattle, and I couldn't find a job for more than $13 an hour. And they were like, look, you got to go back to school for at least another 4 years to get your PhD if you want to make money. And then I was like, you know what? I bet if I spent 4 years trying to do stand-up comedy, I could be making at least, the equivalent of $13 an hour doing stand-up. And it worked out. So here we are.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you're making 15 now.
Oh yeah, I got a cost of living increase from Big Comedy. They sent me an envelope in the mail, and they said from now on, no, we get paid the
Yeah.
same as we always have. Comedians never get the pay raise.
Gosh. Well, wait till you're on Social Security, then you can finally get your pay raise. So
It's so optimistic of you to think that I will be able to enjoy Social Security, but I'm gonna enjoy watching you enjoy it. How about that's
yeah,
how I get my enjoyment.
I'm not that old. So yeah,
Oh, I
you
didn't think
probably
you
won't
were.
be
I just mean I
either.
think you're gonna get to enjoy it, but I don't know that I will.
I wouldn't count on it. Yeah. Well, that's good. So so how as a comedian, how in Seattle, how busy are you? Is that like an every night gig? I looked at your calendar and it looks like you got a lot of stuff coming up.
Yeah, I do. It's like feast or famine a lot of the time. I'm still kind of figuring stuff out from the pandemic because last year it was especially early in the year it was still kind of like tough going to get some gigs. So I wound up doing Norwegian Cruise Line started headlining me last December, or I guess December before last. December 2021 is when they started headlining me. And so I picked up like 18 weeks last year, and
Nice.
I wasn't hitting the road too much. Other than that, I was doing some stuff, but I wasn't like when I was younger, I would just get in my car and drive around the Midwest and over to the East Coast and stuff. But I wasn't doing that, but I'm ready to start kind of getting into that type of work again, because it seems like places have opened up. A lot of the places I like to perform or my favorite places have shut down, unfortunately, but that's a constant part of the process is just always finding new places to go and tell the jokes.
With that.
How was it on the cruise ship? So I just went on my very first cruise ever last fall,
Oh,
and
nice.
And talking to some of the people who work on these cruise ships, they're like, "Oh yeah, we're gone 4 months at a time or more." And it's like, "Oh my gosh, how do you do that?" So, what was that like? I mean, living on the road, living on a boat, I guess.
Yeah, the boat is a little different than the road. I'm used to the road. I'm fine with the road. The boat, I really had to learn how to deal with some of the things because, you don't have
I'm
necessarily
cut in
reliable
here.
internet access. Oh,
I got to cut in for here. So Jamie, part of this here, I also wanted to put a spin on it that he's also 6'7", fit in a cruise ship bed or anything with your height, just dealing with being out on the road, on the
there's a
water.
good point. 6'9", by
Wow.
the way. I'm gonna give myself the extra couple, but
Oh my gosh, 6'9". Yeah, that's
yeah,
like
I had
tiny.
to actually, pardon me, 6'9". Uh, but
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
like I need it, right? Like I need the extra.
Hey, if
But
you've got 2 extra inches, take them, buddy. Don't,
yeah,
don't be leaving 2 inches on the table anywhere.
okay.
Whew.
I'm gonna leave that joke where it is.
Thank you.
Uh, I
Bob,
yeah, I oh, I got Chris there. Um, I I had to learn like you got to entertain yourself. There is like entertainment stuff on the ship, but after a while, you've kind of seen all the shows. But you can get to know the other entertainers. It's a great place to kind of network. Make sure you get off the ship and get outside and get some fresh air here and there. But I've mostly used it as a way to work on just other things that I want to improve on. So I always like to draw, but when I started working on the cruise ships, I got myself a little Wacom tablet so I can draw on my computer.
hmm,
Um, and that's been a really great way for me to kind of like use some of my free time out there because they'll have you doing like 8 to 10 shows a week, but you got the whole day off until you start doing shows. So just trying to hit the gym, trying to draw, trying to write. I got really into writing like short fiction, so I put that up on my website and just kind of having those creative outlets. I feel like it was a good way to keep me sane because you wouldn't believe how many people lose their minds on those cruise ships. The
Yeah.
last second to last contract I was on, two of the entertainers got fired like back to back.
wow.
There was a magician who came back too drunk from the ship, and then he went up late night into the dance club and he pulled his pants down and he was running around with his pants off. And so the security had to take him and they threw him in, whatever drunk jail they have on the ship. And then I guess, and this made me funny just because I never met him, but he was a magician. So I love the idea of like a drunken magician handcuffed without pants. Like, if anyone could get out of those handcuffs, but
Ta-da!
then I guess yeah, he flooded the toilet in their little drunk tank to like as an escape attempt, and so they kicked him off. And then there was another guy, one of the piano players, got kicked off as well because he was what do they call it? Fraternizing with a guest. That's probably the cleanest way to say it.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
not allowed?
No,
Is that
it's not.
No,
real?
no.
Oh,
No.
I would bet that happens all the time.
I don't know. It doesn't seem
Hmm.
like it does to me because the rules I was always told, like in the back in the heyday, back when this was all kind of more new. I guess it was pretty rampant, but ever since I was working there, that's what every single person has told me is like follow the big rules or you will get fired right away. Don't bring drugs on board, don't get too drunk, don't mess around with passengers. And I think I've seen someone get fired for all three of those things. And it's one of those things where I'm like, hey, the money's too good. I'm gonna stay in my cabin and draw. I
Yeah.
think that's what I'm
Sure.
gonna do.
There you go. Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, that's a pretty cool gig. I would think, but yeah, it must get lonely though after a while if you're doing it for a long period of time.
Yeah, I am. I do a good job of keeping up with people. I mean, on the different ports, I can kind of call home and everything. Sometimes I guess it does get lonely. I'm very well suited to being on my own. I think that's why I chose to be like a road comic. Is I'm very good at entertaining myself and keeping myself distracted. So I think that I do a little bit better with the loneliness than some people.
As you should. Now,
Yeah.
Jamie, the thing I back early on is on stage. He's just genuinely likable, and his stories, having stories about his family, his dad, that kind of stuff, and different experiences. Him as the scientist, and variety of stories that that just from the audience perspective, you just feel like you've just entered Travis's world and stuff. And you're right tighter and tighter, from the parachute story on. Some of that to Maynard's tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna have some new stuff prepared, so that'll be a lot of fun. I'm gonna videotape it as well, so I can throw up some tape from Maynard's.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great venue, great food. I think they're going to be linked to this, but good old, right on the Maynard's website and stuff like that. So, but it's just.
Yeah, you keep cutting out, Chris. But I'll definitely put the Maynard's website here so people can go run and grab some tickets for that too. So are you how long have you been gone from Hoquiam, and how's that? You went from Hoquiam to Bellingham, probably small town to small town, and then to Seattle. What was that kind of adjustment like?
It was different. I mean, I was very aware of what a small town Hoquiam was. And
Very aware.
Yeah, very, very aware. You live there and it's like, okay, I know everyone within the first week, and everyone knows each other. I was just visiting my parents. My mom was back on the harbor visiting her friend, and then my dad is trying to sell his house there. And I went out for beers with my dad, and he's like, being in a small town is so funny. We went out to the brewery, and the server brought us our beers, and they were just, they were pretty full. So I picked up my beer and it spilled a little bit. I figured no big deal. But my dad and his wife leaned in. They said, "Oh, she does this all the time." And I said, "She does what?" And they said, "Well, she just fills our glasses too full. So when we pick them up, it spills." Like I'm saying, I don't think it's that personal or anything. And my dad's wife is on this whole like, "No, last time I came, she filled my glass too full and I didn't even drink it. I just left it there for her to deal with." And I was like, what are these petty grievances? And then the lady came to the table and saw that I spilled, and she said, "Oh, you spilled." And then they both said, "Yeah, because the glass was too full." And they started having like an ongoing, clearly an argument that had started long before I got there. And I was like, I feel so bad for spilling this beer right now, but it's very, very small town. But it was kind of nice to go from Hoquiam to Bellingham, which is just a really like beautiful scenic area, and not huge. It's a city, but it's not like Seattle. So it was kind of nice to kind of slowly buffer from like Hoquiam, Bellingham to Seattle. And by the time I got to Seattle, I think I was just kind of prepared for it all. I traveled a little bit, and once you like start traveling around the country, you just kind of learn to take every single place with a grain of salt, and just like, all right, you just kind of learn to exist in these different spots, whether they're like rural or urban or whatever.
So how tall did you left Hoquiam after high school, probably?
Yeah.
And was there anybody else who was 6'7" or 6'9" in Hoquiam at the time?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
His sister.
His brother.
Yeah, my brother's 7 feet tall.
Seriously?
And he's a year older, so I grew up with him the whole time. And then we had a few other guys who were pretty tall too, not like as tall as my brother, but there was a few guys who were around like 6'5", 6'6".
Wow.
I think even 6'7". So yeah, it was like very strange moving out of there because I had a completely skewed idea of how tall people were. You know what I mean? Like it definitely, for whatever reason, that area winds up having a lot of like just tall people. So it sometimes, every once in a while, I'll find myself in a crowded room and I'll just be like, "Oh wow, I am 2 feet above everyone here," and I got to go sit down somewhere because I'm uncomfortable. But yeah, depending where you go, I'm always told I need to go to Denmark. I've heard Denmark has tall people, and I need to go there.
There you go.
A cruise ship
Well, I
will take at some point.
Yeah, eventually I'll get there, and I'll just leave, and I'll never come back to the cruise ship. I'll just disappear into Denmark with all the other tall people.
Nice.
These are my people. You found my
Yeah, yeah.
people. Funny. Well, I watched some of your video online about the about jumping out of an airplane and
Right.
skydiving and with what 5'4" guy on your back. So
Yeah.
that's pretty funny,
Yeah, and that happened in Shelton, at Kapowsin Skydiving, which I believe is
right?
still there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, I'm sure they don't anticipate having 6'9" people coming skydiving very often.
In my experience, they don't anticipate anyone being 6'9", and I don't think they should. Every time people feel bad for me because I'm in an airplane or somewhere wedged in, and they're like, "Oh man, I'm sorry. They should make that." I'm like, "No, it doesn't make sense for me to be this big. I know how. I know on the bell curve, I'm so far to one side that it's like I can't possibly walk around expecting things to be built for me. I just
Yeah.
have to kind of take it as it comes."
I will never again complain about the leg room in the exit row.
Oh
So
man.
it's your honor. Gosh.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the exit row, you're doing good, right? It's when you get stuck behind the exit row that it really stinks.
Yeah. Well, I used to be 5'8", and for some reason, last time I went to the doctor, I was 5'6". So I'm not even sure how that's happening.
Mm.
But um,
You gotta
yeah,
get one of those like inversion tables that just flips you upside down, right?
I
Gotta-
know. Yeah, I
It's like you were
gotta.
just telling me, don't leave those 2 inches on the table. You gotta stretch yourself back out.
That's
Get one of those
exactly right.
medieval torture devices that stretches you.
Whatever it takes. Yeah. Or I need to hang around with more tall people that just make me stand up straight all the time.
Oh,
So
that's a good idea. Maybe I need to
yeah,
do that.
and hang out with more tall people.
Yeah, I'll go to some NBA
There
combines or
you go.
something like that. Just try to slip in amongst all the giants.
You'd fit right in.
Love,
Thank you for saying
love
that.
it.
Fit right in.
Oh,
So, so when was the have you used to play the cloverleaf all the time, which has the
Mhm.
best wings in the world. So have you
and
been to Kitsap in a while? And pizza, right?
Yeah. I was out there recently. I was opening for Bobcat Goldthwait at the Point Casino in Kingston.
yeah, yep.
Mhm.
So I was doing that, and then one of my best friends lives in Silverdale, as my college roommate actually. So whenever I'm over there, I try to go down and visit with her. So I did two shows. It was like Friday, Saturday, and after each show, I went down and hung out in Silverdale. Or I think one time we went to Bremerton, but I like it out there. I try to get out, and I got a few friends out there, so I'm always trying to get out and like touch base with people, especially after the pandemic. Sometimes it's tough because it's like you want to see everybody, but you almost kind of forget until you start seeing people, those people again. You almost like you wouldn't think to go visit them. You know what I mean? So that's one thing with like starting to work the road again. I'm always trying to figure out like, okay, how can I go see like this person or that person kind of on my way just to make sure that I'm reconnecting with all these people that I kind of fell out of contact with.
Yeah, that's so important right now. Just reconnecting with all our different worlds and stuff, and travel a lot. You have those friends and influences, and I find right now during the playoffs, having to pound a few buddies, that kind of stuff. My Niner friends and that kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
that helps reconnect a few people, and I lost a few deals here recently, but that's part of it too. So
Yeah. When you say you lost a few deals, what do you mean?
I Hawks are going to win everything, and it's always either
Yeah.
or a burrito. So win or lose, you still get a taco or a burrito. And
Right.
Paradise down in San Francisco, who's a Dallas fan, he's going to the Dallas game this weekend wearing all his glory colors and stuff like that kind of thing. So
Nice.
I still have a few side bets with him. So
There you go. There you go. Got to keep that parlay going.
Got to do it, man.
So we're live streaming on YouTube right now, and it says on your website you have an independent web series. What does that mean?
Ooh, I think that means that it's a web series that's not been successful. But
Oh,
I have a few of them. I just for fun, I kind of try to keep those things going. Me and my friend Vanessa, who shout out Vanessa, it's her birthday today actually. I'm about to go to she's got a show in Renton, but she and I do one called Funny Sad, which is where we just we both use Twitter quite a bit, so we just keep an eye out for our friends on Twitter, and if they tweet crazy stuff, we'll have them on the show, and then we just bring up their weird tweets just to kind of keep them accountable, you know, which is very funny because no one realized how awkward it's going to be until we get on there. And I'm like, so at 2 a.m, you decided to tweet this. And that can be a lot of fun. I think we've done like, there's 41 episodes on my YouTube, and then we've started putting the newer episodes on the Blunt People YouTube channel, which is kind of a group I formed with Vanessa, Chase Myers, and Aaron Engel. And I know Chase Myers works with Chris all the time, right? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like he's always out there.
Well, you
so so there's that one, and then there's a couple of random ones where it's like, you know, if I had enough time, energy, or finances, I might try to do a more polished version of them. But for me, it's just kind of fun to make these little different web series, and you figure out what it's about, and then you just try to kind of whatever. It's just for fun.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
well, it's a nice creative outlet too. To if you're always trying to work, up your game and write new stuff, write new comedy, then yeah, it's always nice to have somewhere to put it out, and yeah, that's fun.
Absolutely.
It's always about how many different ways can you use your talents, and
yeah,
next bucket is in this world that is going to fill up for you. You just keep putting out more buckets, and some of them fill up, some of them just sit there and don't. So yeah,
that's a good way to put it.
I think, Chris, that's a good idea for us. Anytime we have a guest on, we should check their Twitter account and see what kind of weird tweets they're putting out.
Yes, I'm telling you, it's a gold mine. No one thinks anyone reads their tweets, so you'd be surprised. It's a lot of fun.
That is funny.
That is some good research we could. I don't think Rabel has that many tweets though, or
No. Oh, well, yeah, we're gonna work on that. But yeah, I'd have to my Twitter got hacked about a year ago by some girl in Korea or China or something. And all of a sudden, all my followers were, I don't know, from somewhere else, speaking a language or writing a language that I couldn't understand. And then all of a sudden, I was following all kinds of things. I'm like, what the heck just happened to me?
That's very strange, because I wonder why she would hack your account and not just start her own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can start your own account and follow the things you like. You don't have to just hijack someone else's account and follow a bunch of random things. That seems weird to me.
And it's not like I'm active on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it was really hard to get it back.
Really?
Yeah, it was really hard to get it back, and it took me like a whole day to go unfollow all these things and delete all these things, and yeah, I try to stay off the Twitter.
Yeah, that's the thing that drives me crazy about social media, is the amount of time that has to go into maintaining your social media is sometimes just not worth it, unless you are, trying to be in showbiz for a living, in which case, yum, give me more. That's what I got to do.
Keep feeding it. Toss a few more eggs at its windshield.
Yeah. I'll be the egg on the windshield guy. That's how I'll get famous. I'll just
start videoing them. So when it comes to social media, so yeah, there's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I'm sure you're on all of those. Do you have,
Mhm.
what do you find is the most successful for you, or at least the most interesting?
I like YouTube the best for me, and I think it's because I like to make those videos and put them up. So I've never kind of like given it 100%, but I've kind of always had a YouTube channel, and that one does okay. I really like Twitter. Which just that means bad things about me. It means I'm a toxic person that I like Twitter, but it is my favorite of the social medias because there's a lot of comedians on there, and I just follow a bunch of comics who are always tweeting jokes, so I just scroll through all my friends' jokes. Um, Instagram and TikTok for me are a little. I think I'm just. I can't. I don't care. I feel like I'm wasting so much time when I scroll through those, and I'm just not that interested. I mean, if I followed things I was more interested in, I could probably. It's probably just that I haven't spent enough time on those. But I'm trying. I'm working with a company called Smart House in Seattle, and they're trying to help me figure out all the social media stuff that I don't know how to do, and make like a posting schedule and a production schedule, and trying to kind of get me up to par for where I need to be. So I've been learning a lot. I've been learning a lot about all of it. I didn't know about Instagram highlights. I didn't understand how like story stuff worked, and I'm still not that sure. So I'm hoping you're not going to ask me a follow-up question about any of that.
No, the only follow-up question I'd ask is, for somebody who's starting out, who's, trying to break into showbiz, what do you recommend? YouTube?
Ooh, I would say probably it depends what you're trying to do. If you're just like TikTok is probably the most popular one, so that would be the easiest one um, to have success very quickly. YouTube, I feel like, is much more of a slow burn because for me, I'm not really trying to like make a famous channel. For me, I'm just trying to put stuff that I think is funny up there for me and my friends and whoever else wants to check it out. So I'm hoping that over time I can kind of curate a fan base of people who like my like weird goofy stuff. But part of that is I need to get more professional with my production and all that. But yeah, it's just like all these extra things because at the end of the day, I make a living doing stand up. So I can get really caught up thinking about, YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and how do I optimize and all this. And then all of a sudden I'm at a show and I'm like, oh, what are my jokes? Like, aren't I
Right.
supposed to be a comedian? Shouldn't I have just been writing jokes this whole time? But it's a balance. You got to make it all work.
Sure. Well, that makes sense. Well, I'm sorry we're going to miss you tomorrow night, but everybody else can catch you at Maynard's tomorrow night.
Come
Um,
do it. We're gonna have fun. I won't throw an egg at your car. That's a
No,
Travis promise. No eggs.
Paxton Naaman's going to be there as well, and Steve Gardner. It's going to be a great show. Starts at
Mhm.
7, and come out and see Travis Nelson. You'll enjoy every little bit of it. You'll a couple of his and be a fan of his, and catch him the next time he's in town. But coming on today, I look forward to seeing you and seeing you lots and stuff, man.
Yeah. It'll be good to see it.
Yeah. So good times ever, my friend.
Absolutely.
well, I'll look forward to meeting you another time. And yeah, thanks
We'll
for coming
follow
on.
up. We'll follow up. We'll
Yeah.
yeah.
Thanks for adding me as a friend on Facebook. I'll look forward to following you on that
There
too.
you
Of course.
go.
Happy to be friends.
Awesome.
So
Thanks.
cool. Well, thank you. Have a great show tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, take care. And Chris, yeah, you've got a busy week and more stuff ahead. So
Yep.
looking forward to.
Which is to play with Marshall Tucker Band on Saturday night and that kind of stuff. And Luke Severide coming in on Thursday. So, yeah, it's going to be a good week for people that want to see comedy here and in this, even see a little bit of live music. So, but do some good out there in the world, people. Jamie, you got anything you got to plug for this week?
Yeah, well, all we're working on, and we're working hard on this, is trying to get some sponsorships out for the Kitsap Fair and Stampede. That's coming up so fast,
Yeah.
and then we're
100th
working
anniversary,
on what's that?
100th anniversary of the fair and rodeo. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, nope, that's going to be a blast, and then we've got we're getting close to finalizing a date for Kitsap Shop with the Cop. So I'm super excited
Oh,
about that.
very excited. I can't
Yeah.
wait.
So that's gonna be a good time too. So that's about it. Yeah, just working, working, working.
That's awesome.
So
For the day, I got to do a thing called run out the side door, but I love that we had my buddy tonight. I can't wait to see him tomorrow night at Maynard's, and hope people show up and watch the feel, really like he's missing Hoquiam and Silverdale style. And thanks for playing with me tonight, everybody.
all right.
Absolutely.
Thank you. See you guys later.
Bye bye.
See you guys later. Thanks for playing. Bye-bye.